Radio. My name is Kevin, and this is my coho, and that's it. That's your title, the coho.
I'm just a coho.
You're just my coho. I'm sorry, that's all you get. You're not even a host. We've dropped the S and the T.
You know what? You're fired early.
Thank you.
Early today.
Listen, I got a new microphone going on, new headphones going
See,
on.
you got a
I
new
don't know if
setup.
it's
You
working.
must have gotten paid. Who paid you?
I stole money from the treasury, from the Rebel Ants treasury.
Somebody paid you. Got new headphones. Who are you?
Listen, we have a guest joining us that I never thought would
Yeah.
say yes to us.
Very excited.
Who are we? But here he is. He's actually waiting for us right now. This is really cool. This is a lot of power that we have here. We got a bunch of people watching on X. Give us a little retweet, a like, whatever it is that you people do, a comment, a bookmark, a quote. I don't know, whatever it is. A couple of things just to rattle off up top. Miguel, you want to give us an update on one of our team members?
Yeah, very sad news today. One of our team members, one of our right-hand team members, you guys know him, Mosaic Retro thing. He's going through a tough time right now, so just want to wish him well, and hopefully that he pulls through and comes back to us pretty quickly. But definitely going through a tough time. I just want to wish him well, him and his family.
Absolutely. Retro, our hearts and thoughts are with you from the Rebel Ants. All right. I think my thing is frozen here, so you're going to have to carry the show. Go.
You're not frozen. I can see you're perfectly fine.
I can't click in the EVMux. It's broken.
What do you mean?
I can't change scenes in EVMux. Can you change
Wow.
the scene?
I can. What do you want me to change it to?
Let's see. I don't know. I can't click on anything here. Go ahead. Add in our guest.
Here we go.
There we go. Carlo in the house. Carlo, welcome
Hey.
to the video. How are you?
How are you?
GM, what's going on?
Thank you, man. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Why did you think that I would not say yes to coming to your show?
This is what he does. He does it
We
all.
are a bunch of nobodies. And, you know,
Yeah.
by definition, as ants, we're the little guys.
That's what crypto Twitter is all about. It's all about a bunch of nobodies, and
We're all
trying
nobodies.
we're all nobodies. We're all trying to get together and do something, something creative.
That is
Yeah.
very true.
Absolutely.
So, what are you doing? Are you still trying to fix your?
I fixed it.
You fixed
Nope,
it?
I didn't fix it.
Are you good now?
No, it's not good at all.
Carlo, this is what happens on our show all the
Yeah.
time. Like,
So
it's just
embarrassing.
always Kevin just going through shit that doesn't
Okay, I
work.
fixed it. I fixed it.
All right.
Everyone stop yelling. I was gonna show something on the screen, then it got weird. Maybe I can still show it. Maybe we'll try again. Here we go. We are gonna try it one more time. And here it is.
Yeah, you're okay.
Yeah, we got it. Okay, so
Oh,
we
okay.
we just set up our first Mooney raffle. We're very excited about our Mooney raffle. There's only 2 raffles right now. One of them is from Sean, and you can win $10,000. But don't worry about that. We're more focused on the little guy one, the one for 0.05 ETH. So for 0.001 entry, you can win 0.05 ETH. So some big returns there. If you head over to mooney.gg, click on raffles, you will see the one, the smaller one over there. So only 100 tickets, only 100 tickets. So pretty good odds. If you spent like $20, you're really increasing your odds to win over $200 in ETH. Carlo, do you obsess over the price of ETH and other coins?
No, I really don't have time to obsess over the price of it. I do daily check-ins of like, oh, that's where it's at today. That's basically it. But a lot of the stuff that I'm holding, I'm just holding for long term.
Forever.
Well, I don't know about forever. I mean, obviously there's going to be an exit point at
Yeah.
some point, naturally. But yeah, just just kind of holding things like Pengu, for example. I think
Yeah.
that's gonna have a pretty long shelf life in terms of use case and mind share. So just kind of holding on to that, things like that.
Yeah, I just got out today out of Pepe. I got out and I moved it into Pengu. Some people are going to be mad at me. I know it, but it is what it is. I
Yeah,
feel like Pengu is a better move right now.
I remember when Pepe launched. I was at NFT NYC and I had a bunch of people. I was in a bunch of chat groups and stuff like that, and one of the guys was like, "Hey, you need to buy this," and I'm like, I don't have like my wallet with me. I'm traveling. Like I'm just, and that was like right when it launched.
Yeah.
And if I just thrown in an ETH at it, I'd probably not be on this podcast right now. But luckily I didn't, and I'm here. So
What year were you at NFT NYC, or multiple years?
it was multiple years. I think that was that 2022 or 2023.
When were we there? When did we sponsor?
24.
2024? But 23, I was there. Yeah.
23. I think 23 is when Pepe. So that would have been 23. I was there. I was there in 22, 23, 24, and this past year.
Yeah, 23 was good.
Yeah.
24 was okay. I mean, we sponsored on 24, and we had some some bad things happening. But besides that, I just don't think it was as good as 23 for some reason.
Yeah, there's been a kind of a decline in IRL events, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I think it was I think it was 2022. Consensus was really awesome. NFT NYC was awesome. And then I started going to some other ones, and like even the NFT Miami week in 2022 was pretty great,
Yeah.
or decent. It was decent. Like
Yeah.
it had some good speakers and stuff like that. But then you just kind of see a decline over time. It's just an interest bear market, stuff like that. People are not
Yep.
going out, and the conventions have done worse, but the side parties and the community events, those have
That's
kind
still
of
good,
popped
yeah.
off. Yeah, they're still pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, this year we went to the GU get together, and we went to go meet some friends too out there from the UK. Vicky, who has her own show within our umbrella, we met her and her husband. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to meet some people out there this year.
It's the 3-year anniversary of Genuine Undead.
That's right.
Yeah, it
Speaking
is
of
today.
you,
I'm wearing my Grateful I'm Undead hat that Mason gave me at NFT
nice.
NYC 2 or 3 years ago.
do you call him Mason like in real life?
I do. I mean, I know his name, but I call
Yeah.
him Mason.
I hope so.
Like
I think everybody calls him
we've met in person multiple times. I met his girlfriend. Like we've hung out, but I was like, I'll still call him Mason just because. But I know his name. I know his name.
Yeah.
So I read that you entered the crypto space in 2017. What initially drew you to Web3? Like, how did you dive in?
Yeah, so I've been kind of I got interested in crypto early on, mostly in the majors, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, things like that. Mostly trading on centralized exchanges, right? Using centralized exchanges like Coinbase and Robinhood and things. And I caught on to like Shiba Inu and Dogecoin pretty early, in like 2021, I believe. But I had a pretty decent bag of that, and from there, like I think with the pandemic and like the lockdown, and like I was just bored out of my mind. I was just kind of like looking around at different things, hopping in different groups and stuff like that, and I kind of found my way into the shitcoin trenches of BSC, the Binance chain. So I was like in a bunch of communities on BNB and trading over there, and kind of found my way into NFTs the end of 21, early 22. Missed out on like the Basie and stuff like that, but I was found some pretty great communities, and really got interested in that. Started hosting spaces, hosted like I don't know 300-400 spaces, and it was a vibe. And then I think at the end of 2022, I met Scott. Well, I met Scott early in 2022, but I kind of helped him out with his project and the end of 2022, kind of as a community manager, spaces host, social media guy. And that kind of just drew me in. But there was really the community aspect of it that brought me deeper into it. I've always been on Twitter. I've been on Twitter since 2007. Literally, I saw them launch at South by Southwest, and then I was like, yeah, I'll set up an account. So I have the same account for 18 years basically, and but was using it for different things prior to Web3. Like obviously, I'm an actor, director, things like that, but I also very big in the nonprofit world. So I was using it for charity work from like 2009 through 2014. I was basically doing charity work with my Twitter, and had a trending thing in 2011 called Cyber Giving Monday, which was all about kind of giving back after the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yeah.
And I caught fire, and in 2012 that became Giving Tuesday, which is like a huge multi-billion-dollar day of giving globally, and that just came from like one idea that I had and a community that formed around it, and just kind of like that virality of mind share that can happen on social media. Like that's kind of what Web3 reminded me of having that experience with Giving Tuesday, and now being able to kind of do that with these other communities as well. So
Yeah.
Wow.
So, what you're saying brings me to think of something happening with Bearish. So before we even get to that question, do if I were to say Carlo from Bearish, is that putting you in a box too much? Or are you like, whoa, I'm much more than just Bearish? Or is that like a way that you
I
would
mean,
identify to?
I think there's probably something that a lot of people in crypto Twitter would probably identify me as. I
Yeah.
was originally I was a big community member of the Plague NFT project.
Yeah.
Obviously, I hold GUs, Space Riders, some of those 2022 projects.
Yep.
I was big in those communities. So I feel like people have known me from the space for the past 3 years, just in the NFT community. But I do a lot of other stuff, right? Like,
Yeah.
I've got a day job that I work, that I've been with for 20 years in the music industry. I also do my own thing. Like I write and I direct and I act, and that's a passion for me. But
Yeah.
I also like hanging out in Web3, and trying to create cool stuff that could potentially lead to something else, right?
I like it.
Yeah.
So, you just put out a post about like the last 6 months of Bearish, and it really focuses around like the giving back to the community, right? And what the takeaways were and some of the ways that you can benefit from being a community member. Was that a direction that you were pushing for, and you're like, this can be like our niche, we can be like the builders project?
Yeah, I mean, that recap I just wanted to do, just because a lot of people still are not on abstract. A lot of people may not even be collecting NFTs. They might be just doing the meme coin route, right? What I bring to the table, what I bring to the team, is that community aspect, right? I was a community member in a lot of projects. I know what I like. I
Yeah.
know what I want, and how can we, achieve that? Scotty's a huge dev. He's helped out a lot of projects in the space. Jirasan, The Plague. He worked for PayPal. He worked for NASA. Like he's just helped a lot of projects in abstract already. So like we have that builder mentality,
Right.
and one of the things that myself and Totally do really well is we're really interested in vibe coding. I've been vibe coding for about a year and a half, just trying to like create little mini dApps and apps and things like that. And so we wanted to have essentially like a two-prong approach to what Bearish could be. One, obviously, vibrant NFT community with rewards and benefits for holders. That's kind of led by a cute IP, right?
Yep.
Kind of cute meta IP. And then the second prong of that would be kind of the builder mentality, having these hackathons, these vibe coding hackathons, where we're upskilling our community to use these awesome AI tools that are available, to build something, to get their ideas into a working proof of concept and potentially win some prizes. So we're going to be announcing the winners of our third hackathon on Friday. We've got a $30,000 prize pool that's going to be going out to builders. So after that, we'll have given out about $75,000 USD in prizes over
That's
three
crazy.
hackathons. We've got another one planned, probably for Q4, which will most likely include Pengu, because we have a huge treasury of
Nice.
Pengu. We've got a huge
Yeah.
treasury of Grind. We've got a huge treasury of Berry Coin. Like we've got like stuff that we could use to kind of help fund some of these efforts, but also we can partner with other projects too. Like we can partner with a meme coin that might want to have some dApps or games built and utilize our community that's kind of training themselves how to do so. And we've already had some success. Like our last hackathon for Grind, Francis and his team built Hash Crash, which is now on the Abstract portal, right? So they were able to take it from vibe coding hackathon to the Abstract portal, and have done over $1 million in transactions in the past
Crazy.
like 40 days, right?
Crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's just one like example of something that's positive that comes out of this. And then
Yeah.
also I've heard from other people who've built something that they've had other projects reach out to them to white label a game that they created. Like these are the types of things that we're looking for in
Yeah.
terms of opportunity, right? Making opportunities happen for folks by helping them learn or just kind of pushing them to try. So that's kind of our main efforts. We have an in-house art team and our strategic team for operations when it comes to, Giphy and GIFs and stuff like that, because, IP proliferation is a part of it, right? And so I believe we just crossed like 718 million views on Giphy
So crazy.
in like 5.5 months. So
Yeah.
I think we're doing pretty good.
Okay, so two questions. Something you put in that post, that 6-month post, was that there's zero royalty, right, on Bearish. So where is that treasury coming from? How are you getting this money to reward?
Yeah, so it's from doing work for other projects, right?
Partnerships. Yeah.
Yeah, our
So,
partnerships. We actually did a portion of our initial mint in Pengu, and we burned 50% of the Pengu that we took in and kept the other 50%. And we think it's going to go higher, so we're holding it, right?
Yeah.
We did a vibe code hackathon for Grind, and we were able to, with that partnership, get percentage of the supply for the prize pool, and then also for the Bearish treasury. The same thing with Berry Coin. We've done helped them with some dev work, and we got essentially free mints for all the Bearish holders that minted. And we also have a treasury for that and a bunch of their NFTs for our bodega. So the more work and partnerships that we do, we try to find ways to kind of bring in that value for the community, but also to help the project to kind of sustain the things that we want to do in terms of giving back and providing value.
Yeah. It's a sweet flywheel.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's the secret sauce behind community growth and engagement with Bearish? Like,
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that I've noticed about the makeup of our community is that it's a lot of people that I've known for a while. I've known them in other communities like the Plague and Space Riders and GU and Sappy Seals and Pudgy Penguins and stuff like. They're like people who've been here through the bear, so
Yeah.
they understand the importance of being engaged on the timeline and being active and vocal. So there's that kind of like core group that makes up the Bearish community. And we're also inviting new people in from Abstract, from other chains, slowly but surely, kind of one by one. People are kind of coming in and seeing what we're all about. But I think one of the more important tools that we have is a product that we actually built and developed called
Yeah.
Drip,
yeah,
right?
yeah. We use
Which
Drip.
is
Yeah.
which is our flagship product, and it's in, I don't know, like 1,800 discords, 8 million users.
It's good.
And we
We love it.
utilize that. I've been using it for over for a couple over a year now at least, and maybe longer. And we do a really good job of just like utilizing that to reward people who go out on these quests and engage and show up. And then we have the bodega marketplace with raffles and other stuff, NFTs, tokens, IRL merch, things like that they can spend that berry on. I have a code quest for this stream, for example.
Let's do it.
So if anybody's watching this stream and want to collect their 5 berries, the code word is colony in all caps.
I like
C
it.
I like it.
COLONY, colony in all caps. I think I spelled that right.
You did, thank you.
And yeah, so like that helps, right? I mean, obviously there's going to be the diehards, the people who are going to do it for free because they believe in the project. And there's also the people who just need a little bit more incentive. And we want active people who show up to benefit more than inactive people. But there's still going to be benefits regardless of where you stand, whether you're a builder, an active, engager on the timeline, or someone just passively holding. There will be some benefits that will trickle down. But obviously, the more you put in, the more you're going to get out.
Yeah.
You mentioned hosting over like 350, 400 spaces, whatever it was. What is the most surprising lesson you've learned about Web3 from those conversations you've had in those spaces?
Yeah, I mean, I've been on all types of spaces. The spaces that I hated the most were the ones that were like the home shopping network for Web3, where everybody comes on, like you get 100 projects in there. You've got a bunch of bots listening for giveaways, and you've got 2 minutes to tell what your project's all about, and everybody's kind of tuned out anyways. They're just waiting for the giveaways. Like those are not like things that I like. I like conversations. I like the opportunity to kind of connect with people. I want to know like who you are, what you're building, why are you here? You know, those are the important questions. I mean, I want to know the human aspect of who you are. Not necessarily. I don't care about how much money's in your wallet. I just want to know what your intentions are. So I would host a lot of spaces with builders. I would host, you know, like Scotty and Tolly and things like that, and other folks in the space. But I think the biggest thing is that, and the one thing that I like the most about it is, regardless of what you believe or who you support, there's a lot more humanity that can be mined here in terms of like
Yeah.
there's so much more that that connects us,
Yeah.
that we have in common than we have differently. And I think that's the most important call out there. And that was one of the biggest things that I was pushing, is like, hey, remember the person behind the PFP, remember the empathy. If somebody gets wallet drained, like, don't laugh at them, you know, put yourself in that situation.
Yep.
Because we all have the same like wants and desires, and we just want to make our lives a little bit better.
Yeah.
And hopeful, and we're all hopeful. You know, we got this hope that we're in a place that is going to be able to help us get to that next stage, or just a little further down the road. So, you know, that's the biggest thing. Obviously, you know, there's been a lot of scammers and
Oh yeah.
and a lot of BS and a lot of drama, and I try to stay out of that, and that's probably why I'm not as well known or followed as some of the other folks in the space. But you know, I like my drama on the screen,
On the stream, yeah.
and on a theater stage, as opposed to on the timeline. So
Yeah. You know, part of the reason why we started this is for similar reasons, right? Like we started this 3 years ago, this podcast, and I'm an artist by nature. I grew up being an artist my whole life, but you know, I got tired of being rugged. I got tired of the anonymity. I got tired of just people hiding behind PFPs. And the reason why we started this in the first place was because we wanted to know the artist behind the art. Because once you resonate with the artist, then you're more inclined to purchase that artwork, right? So thinking about it in that sense, it makes sense for us to start this podcast that we've been doing for a while now. And we've interviewed like some great artists and creators out there that are amazing. But you know, still the little guys out there, but
yeah.
doing some great things, right? And we wanted to give them some exposure. But anyway, what's the biggest misconception about Web3 or NFTs that you've encountered, and how have you addressed it?
Let's see, the biggest misconception. I mean, I think from a Web 2 standpoint, I think the biggest misconception is that everything's a Ponzi, and to a certain extent,
Yeah.
it is. I always say that everything's a scam or a Ponzi until they prove otherwise. So there's a bit of misconception around that, because I think there are some significant builders here who are here for the right reasons, and then obviously there's the scams, right? But it's really trying to create a community of people who understand who is here, because then, and who's here for the right reasons, who's building, because then it becomes our responsibility to educate and welcome folks who are curious about the space, to say, these are the projects to look at as like your intro. I
Right.
know you'll be safe with these people. And if you ever need help or have questions, reach out to me. I'll be your Web3 buddy, right? Like, I think that type of interaction is what's necessary. We're not going to have, I mean, it could happen at some point, this idea of like mass onboarding. I don't think it's going to happen. It hasn't happened. You've seen trickles of it, but I think what you can get, and I think what's more impactful, is that incremental onboarding of, hey, your friend reaches out to you and asks about Pengu, or your friend reaches out and asks about what is Pudgy Penguins, or whatever it is, or what's Bearish. You can educate them, right? You have that responsibility to kind of take them through it and then see if that's right for them. If it's not right for them, they can make their own decision. But that incremental one-on-one education aspect of things is still sorely needed. And that's what's going to lead to additional adoption in the space. It's not just I don't think there's just going to be some massive event. There's going to be certain catalysts. Like, I think seeing regardless of your political beliefs, seeing people like, Trump or Eric Trump talking about ETH, or
Yeah.
Matt
Right.
Gates talking about Pengu, like they have an audience that listens to them and are going to say, "Oh, wait, this is interesting. Let me see what that's all about." Those types of catalysts are going to happen, and bring folks on. So, yeah, I think we all have that kind of responsibility, especially if someone reaches out to you to ask about crypto or Web3, to potentially be their Sherpa guide and take them through the process of what to look for and what to avoid.
Is that what's driving the like the Giphy push to say someone's going to use this meme and share it with you, and then you can be like, "Do you know what that is? Like, you know what the origin of that is?" And then kind of onboard them that way.
I'm waiting for the day when one of my
In the
non-crypto
wild.
friends sends me one. Yeah, so like I've been really pushing hard on our strategy for Giphy, mostly because it's about getting the IP out there. It's the relatability of the artwork, right? Pudgy Penguins does a really great job of it. They
Oh
are
yeah.
massive on it, and there's a lot of projects within the top tier of Web3 that are doing Giphy strategies. They're doing TikTok. They're doing Instagram,
Mhm.
YouTube Shorts.
Yep.
It's expanding into Telegram now, and we're going to be doing all of those as well. Like we just had our first 1 million view TikTok video this week, and we got, I don't know, we're 150,000 likes on our TikTok so far. So like there's growth there, just to get the character, the IP, the artwork out there into the Web 2 mind share. But it's a necessary component. But also, once you get to a certain point, we're still a baby, but once
Yeah.
you get to a certain
Yeah.
point, and you want to sit down at the table to do like a partnership deal for like a product or a toy or a sticker or anything like that, you've got to have the data to support what you're saying. You can say you have a community of 2,000 holders, but to get that deal done, what is the interest in the
Right.
actual IP? When you can say I have 2 billion Giphy views and I've got this many followers and this, and like on all of these different channels, then it sets you up for a little bit better success to get
Yeah.
that deal
Makes sense.
closed.
That makes
And
sense.
and so there's a strategy behind it. Does it mean it's going to be successful? No, but if you find the right partner, maybe. You got to try.
Yeah.
What was about Bearish at the beginning that you were like, yeah, I want to be a part of this?
For me, it was, so Scotty and Tolly had previous communities on ETH, and they had met and started working on Drip together, and really liked their relationship. Both realized they had bear themed projects. They decided that it might be a good idea to bring the communities, the teams together, and to launch this new IP. For me, I wanted to make sure that the community was taken care of in that process. So when they reached out to me to kind of help with stuff, I was like, all right, talk me through your plan and let me know what you plan to do, because I wanted to make sure that the people who were in those legacy communities are taken care of to a certain extent. It's something that I would be happy with
Yeah.
as a holder myself. So that aspect of it was important to me. And then also, I was a I'm a big fan of Luca. I think he's like one of the most genius marketers
Agree.
and just people in the space. And I was interested in Frame when Abstract was Frame initially. I had farmed some Frame points and was really excited about that L2 because I thought Coffee and Saigar I think are great devs and wanted
Yeah.
to be a part of that. And when it became Abstract, I was like, and Luke was on board with Igloo and company. I was like, yes, I want to participate in Abstract and whatever that is, because I think it has potential to be a competitor to Base, right? To
Yeah.
be that consumer crypto chain, and I think it's done pretty well in 6 months. And I'm looking forward to the future because I think a year, 5 years from now, it could be something completely different.
Yeah. I think Luke is definitely building a blueprint.
Yeah.
Like yeah, I'm a huge fan. As you can see behind me, I have like pudgies everywhere. But
Yeah.
how do you measure like success in community building, like the engagement metrics, loyalty, or something else?
Yeah, I think there's a lot. There's a few different things that I track. I track engagement with our quest. I track general sentiment in the Discord and Twitter conversations. I want to make sure that everybody's happy, or as happy as they can be, with Bearish, because we have a lot of unhappy things that happen in our IRL lives that sometimes trickle into the way that we interact with
Yeah.
people. I can't control that. I can have empathy for it and I can relate, but sometimes we just get in a bad mood and might, spout something off. But for the most part, I feel like we've had a pretty decent atmosphere within our Discord. The timeline is always pretty active. People are going on the quest. We're getting some decent numbers on engagement. I don't really like to track floor price. I know it's important to holders though, so I'm mindful of it.
Yeah.
And we minted for 0.055, and we've always maintained above that, right? And now ETH is going up, so that even increases where we're at from mint to now. I think we're hovering around 0.12. But also Abstract's very new. There's not a lot of, there's not as many users on Abstract as there are on Sol or mainnet ETH, right? So there's opportunity for growth there, and we just being one of those projects that were minted in the first 24 hours of Abstract, we've got that provenance. We're building, we're providing value. It's going to be a place where people will come and gravitate towards. So as we see our holder count grow, as we see our community grow, those are indicators that I'm looking for, and just general sentiment. Are people happy? Are they getting value back? Those things are important for me.
This, I imagine being a community manager for a project like this, it's probably 24/7, right? I mean, the community is always active. Besides just timeline reasons, like people are just always doing crypto things. Where do you draw that line of like, all right, I'm off of work today from the community side of things?
Yeah, it's hard with Web3 to kind of say that. The one thing I work from home. I'm very much on a device a lot of the day. There's certain things that I do if I'm going out and seeing a movie, or like tonight I'm playing softball. So I've got a game tonight. I'm gonna be checked out, but I'll let people know like, hey, I'm doing this or doing that. I try to kind of keep my weekends a little free unless there's emergencies. I need you got to carve out space for yourself.
Yeah.
For your own mental health, and
Yeah.
like also I'll take time to like I'm working on a script right now. And I just had a meeting yesterday to kind of talk through it. And so I've got this weekend, I got to make a bunch of changes, edits. So I'll carve out some time to do that. And then also the other stuff that I do. So I can easily check in because we have devices everywhere. But I also work faster than most people because of the ADHD. So my superpower.
Yeah.
So I can take 8 hours of work and condense it into one, and be able to kind of handle things that are going on. So like we've got a bunch of collabs going on right now, and I'm just kind of spearheading all of those efforts. Like we announced this week, Spoiled Banana Society Fantasy Football.
Saw that.
So free drafts for Bearish holders. It's a $40 entry for free and 27 ETH prize pool. So huge win there. We've got a watch giveaway with Jupis. Next week we're going to be announcing something, another thing for all Bearish holders. So and then some other gamification stuff that's going to be coming too. So it's just having a good spreadsheet of stuff.
Yeah.
And just checking in on all the chats.
It's definitely a lot. I mean, we for example have the NFT project. We have obviously the show. We're building an umbrella, right? We're building a platform where other people can come and stream for us under our name, right? So it's definitely tough, and it's only Kevin and I, and then we have a team behind us too that's helping us now. But it definitely gets difficult between like the communication part between me and Kevin, like, hey, this is happening. Can we do it now? And I'm like, I can. I'm working on this other stuff. Like, it's definitely a lot. So I can definitely resonate with what you're saying. But like you said, I think it's the ADHD that kicks in, and you're like, all right, I got to get this done. Let me get this done. Let me put it in first. This one, prioritize this one first, this one second, this one third, and then you pretty much get it all in line.
Yeah, for sure. Usually I'll knock out like the easy stuff first just to get it off the,
Yeah.
just to check stuff off. Easy, 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 and
Yeah.
then the medium, and then focus on the hard stuff. But yeah, and also we've got a pretty. I mean, we have a small team, but we've got a very hardworking team. Tolly and Scotty handle the dev and business side of things. On the drip side, we've got an additional BD. We've got 2 additional devs. On the art team, we've got 3 different artists that work with us.
Wow.
Actually 4 different artists that work with us, plus our operations, our head of operations, which is FOMO Phil. He handles making sure the art team's on task, and then also making sure the Giphy strategy is working. And then I've also got a couple community members that help out, Pips and Harriet, who help me with some of the community stuff. And then just other community members just helping in, pitching in, and answering questions. They're part of my team in a way, because like I'll go in, someone's asked a question, I'm going to go answer it, and it's already been answered. Like that's so helpful from a community helping the team standpoint. And that's what I've always loved about this community, is just like, as soon as somebody knows the answer, they're willing to help somebody else. And that's just how we grow and how we learn. So I appreciate that aspect. So thank you.
If I wanted to bridge your life as an actor director with your Web3 by talking about AI, do you feel like you bring a different perspective as the actor director side of what AI can do, knowing the power of it from vibe coding and sort of the prolification of it in the Web3 side that maybe some other people on the acting directing side don't see it the same way?
There's a lot of hesitation around AI because I think from an actor standpoint, nobody wants to be replaced.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose your job. I think from a filmmaker side, there's interest there because there's certain things, just things that you could potentially do without a green screen, that could can make for better filmmaking.
Yeah.
So I think there's the camp is kind of split. I haven't done any AI in films that I've done or anything like that. I think the camps are split a little bit, because there's the unions want to protect the workers, and then there's the filmmakers who want to kind of, some of them, not all of them, some of them want to kind of like, what other technologies out there, right?
Right.
There's a AI startup that what's her name? There's an actress that I'm a big fan of. Blanking on the name right now.
Sure.
But she's basically working with this new startup company that's really for filmmakers to use AI for their film. I think it's called Moonbeam, something like that. It's I just had the name for a second and it went away. She's in Poker Face, if you've watched Poker Face.
Yes, I'm watching it right now, actually.
Natasha Lyonne. So
Yes.
Natasha Lyonne, she's I think it's called Moonbeam. I think there's interest there. I don't know how quickly it'll be adopted.
Yeah.
But I have been noticing on a lot more film festivals are asking about AI. Like, was this film did this film utilize AI in any way? If so, how? Because I've directed a feature film last year that we've been submitting to film festivals, and I noticed that's been popping up. It's just like, was AI used in this film? And I hadn't seen that before, so that's interesting that they're kind of onto that as well.
Yeah. I watched some things that are on your IMDb page. There's a entire episode of Undercovers, which is available to stream.
Yeah.
And there's a line in there, and it says you're the writer, so I want to ask you about this. There's a line in there where it's sort of like rock, paper, scissors, but they do like dick, ball, legs. Was that like your line? You came up with that?
Yeah. I don't know why. No, yeah. Was it? Yeah.
I'm really into these like alt versions of rock, paper, scissors, and if you look on Wikipedia, there's like a million of them. So I'm just curious if you're like,
what was it?
Something else.
I think it was like, what was it? Wiener ball legs or something like that?
Yeah, wiener ball legs, and yeah.
And then it was like legs dangle wiener, or
Yeah.
So, I was like,
technical hierarchy there.
There's a technical hierarchy, yeah. Yeah, so like wiener's above balls, but then legs dangle wiener. So, I had I had wanted to write a like something funny because I've been doing a lot of dramatic stuff, and I
Yeah.
wanted to write something funny. So I wrote a few scripts, and I had some friends kind of get together and we filmed it. And I think I I had some money from Chicago PD. I did an episode of Chicago PD. I had some money from that, and I was like, I'll just use this to produce this web series. And I threw 15 grand at it. We made 3 episodes, released 2 of them, and no, it was fun. I had a good time writing it, just being silly. And but yeah, that was something I wrote.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good line. I was laughing throughout the whole episode. My wife walks in and she's like, "What are you watching?"
Yeah.
I was like, "It's the guy that we're talking with
Yeah, we
tomorrow."
I th- we filmed that episode in 2 days, like over the weekend, just to kind of bunch of friends and actors just kind of getting together and doing it.
Yeah, it's that was like a 16-minute episode. Are you surprised that there's not? I don't know. Like, is there not like an interest in that length of things? Are we like too short and too long on attention span, where it's like 3 hours Joe Rogan or 10-second TikTok, and there's not room in the middle anymore?
Yeah, I mean, it used to be 10 years ago, our attention span was about 35 minutes.
Right.
Then it went down to 20, and now I think our attention span is about 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I think we've had definitely a general decline in that. I think short form content is working pretty well on TikTok and Instagram. People are watching reels and sending them, sharing them all the time,
Mhm.
right? Like, and I think there's been some interest in kind of creating original content for reels,
Mhm.
like YouTube Shorts and things like
Right,
that.
right.
I don't think anything's really taken off yet, from like a fiction standpoint.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always was interested in the web series format because it is short, and but I think that boat has sailed in a way. And but yeah, Funny or Die was like huge. That was
Yeah.
like a lot of
Yeah,
short
that was
form
really good.
content,
It's yeah.
and then that kind of fell off. But there's just so many content options now. You can stream. You've got like 17 different streaming sites. You've got YouTube. You got Instagram. You got TikTok. There's there's no there's no drought when it comes to content,
Yeah.
and people are going to watch whatever they want to watch.
Yeah.
So even the audience is no longer as saturated to one type of genre or one type of programming. It's all over the map. So it makes it a lot more difficult to create something that has wide appeal.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to work into a segment or a demographic. That's why horror films play really well, because there is a built-in community for horror films, and they will do pretty well. Even if they don't make it onto like the big screen, they'll get cult followings if they're really good or widely shared.
So I just pulled up on the screen A Million More to Go, which I think is your next release of a film, right?
Correct.
So you're saying the attention span is shifting. How do you take that into account as you're making something in real time? Like, as the world is shifting so fast, like how does that impact or influence what you're working on now?
Yeah. So this one was interesting. I was asked to direct it. It was originally a stage play, and wanted to adapt it for the screen. So I kind of worked with the screenwriter a little bit, try to maintain, or the playwright a little bit, and try to maintain the vibe of it, but also bring it down in terms of performance for film, because it's 2 different types of performances from stage to screen.
Yeah.
And the actors did a really good job of that. This particular script is a bit of a farce. It's a little absurd. It's loosely based on real life events, but is not set in our world. It's like a alternate reality, a shift off the timeline.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like these. It was loosely inspired by the recount efforts in Maricopa County after the 2020 election. So these are ballot counters who are recounting presidential ballots, and there's all these different, all these different forces that are trying to sway the election one way or the other, and they're kind of just stuck in the middle. But it kind of has this weird, like, Parks and Rec, like Office Place comedy mixed
Yeah.
with like dystopian future, like Fallout, where you're like, is this our world or is this somewhere else? So it's an interesting, unique, quirky little film. And yeah, we've had we had fun making it, and right now we're currently we're currently submitting to a bunch of film festivals right now, waiting to hear back. We're going to be in Glasgow in November, screening there, and then waiting to hear back at some others. And we also are working with a sales agent to help kind of get a distribution deal in place so that it'll end up somewhere. We don't know yet,
Yeah.
whether it's streaming or whatnot. But yeah, so
Pretty cool.
we're currently shopping it and doing film festivals.
Yeah. The preview here, the trailer on the website, it gives that same vibe that you just said. Sort of dystopian, sort of Parks and Rec, and like questioning is this really happening or not? So
Right.
very, very on point for that. I think it's time to thank our sponsor for today's episode. So, Miguel, can you do that for us?
Sure. Let's see what you got today. This this segment is brought to you by Proof of Lunch, the world's first blockchain-based food tracker. Every donut, kale chip, and shameful 2 a.m. burrito is permanently minted so your trainer can hold you accountable forever. Proof of Lunch, because your diet should be as transparent as the blockchain.
There we go. That sounds like a real product, right?
Is that a real product or no? It's
No,
just right
I
there.
make these up every week.
Oh, okay, great. All right.
But
I love it.
It makes me read them.
I make him read it because I know what it says. It's not fun if I read it. I
It
made
is
it.
fun.
That's awesome.
I,
It reminds me. During the pandemic, I wrote this audio series, like a streaming audio series for a theater company because they were looking for content because they couldn't do a live performance, and it was called Pet Dick, and it was about a podcaster who discovered all these old recordings from a pet detective from the '60s.
I love
and
it.
was like creating like these episodes, and then would have like these fake commercials for different products. So yeah, I don't know if the website's still up or not, but I could send that to you if you're interested.
Yeah,
They're like short, like 11, 10-minute episodes that are
Yeah.
just audio.
Yeah.
Audio. It's like audio performance.
I dig it. We are going to put you on the spot. Okay. We're going to do a little segment called Pitch Me. I just made this up. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick a genre and then like a blockchain Web3 term, and then you're going to make up like a pitch for a movie for that. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right. So hold on. We're gonna start with the genre, and then we're gonna spin the wheel for the term. Okay.
Okay.
So first, let's spin this wheel. Let's see what genre we have to make a pitch for. Kids animated. Okay. Right
Seems a
now.
little easy. I was hoping for adult film.
All right. You know what? It's adult film. You got it.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. There's a
and,
pizza guy.
Okay. So we'll go kids animated, and then here's the term that you need to pitch me on. Whitelisting and kids. Okay, good luck, man. All right. Pitch me.
All right. Animated series from my list. Okay. That's okay. All right. So this we're gonna call this I don't know, the raccoon list. It revolves around a family of raccoons, and the youngest, most spritey little raccoon is really trying to get into this group of friends, and they've developed this this way to kind of make people work for inclusion into their club. And so this little raccoon Rocky, he's trying really, really hard to get into this club for all the cool raccoons. They call themselves the Cocoons, and so he has to perform all these tasks that they ask him to do, to kind of complete this whitelist in order for him to join this club. So it kind of follows the adventures of Rocky the raccoon, kind of going through and grinding nuts for the other raccoons,
Yes.
and following all the other raccoons, and then he's got to like click on all these different buttons and stuff like that. So. And then he kind of gets down on himself because he finishes all the tasks on the whitelist, but they still don't let him into the club because he didn't show up on initiation day in time, and so he missed his window of opportunity to join the club. So he decides to start his own club with his younger sister and some other friends. So
Yes,
yeah.
I would watch that.
Oh,
Well
no.
done. Well done.
I have no idea. I feel like adult film would have been easier.
maybe Miguel will get adult film. We're gonna put him on the spot too.
No, you're not.
Come on.
No,
All right,
I have a
we're gonna
question.
give you
I have
a.
a question for him though.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Like, what's the biggest? You think it's the biggest problem onboarding like the next billion users to Web3, and how can we overcome it, in your opinion?
The a billion users. You want a billion users here?
Do you?
The only the only way that's going to happen is through institutional initiatives. The way that I see it is money leads this conversation. And money leads this conversation in terms of how we utilize money. So, from my standpoint, the migration from paper currency and coin currency to plastic currency, your credit cards, your debit cards, that was a transitional period for a lot of people. But it was forced upon them in a way. Like, you want to have quicker access to your money. Here's this plastic card with your name on it and some numbers, and you could use it at all these stores. And at a certain point, that became less and less. It became more digital. You're not getting a check from your job anymore. Grandma's now has to figure out what an ACH deposit is.
Yeah.
Right? Grandma has to figure out, like, don't give this information to somebody on the phone. And so, like, we've moved more and more and more towards digital currency. People just don't realize that they haven't seen a paper dollar or a coin in a very long time. And they just have this belief that the internet is sending money to their bank account, and then they're sending that money through internet websites to buy things, or they're tapping their phone on, things, and it's magically sending money around, right? So we've been moving towards this. So I think the next thing that's going to happen is your banks, your credit card companies, when they start adopting blockchain and saying, hey, now your money is in this wallet, and this is now you got to have wallet protection and figure out how to utilize this. But you're still going to be able to tap your phone, right? You're still going to be able to, like, press a button to send money to somebody.
Yeah,
that currency is now changed, right? That's the only way that you're going to get billions of users to use it. You've got to change the currency that people use in their day to day, and make it easier for them to do so.
Is it like Starbucks the way they were doing it? Right? They were doing.
Yeah, they were doing kind of like
sort of
they were
website?
they were doing like an NFT program, yeah, kind of built into their Starbucks rewards. Yeah, Odyssey, yeah. That was one example, but it wasn't successful enough because I don't think people understood it.
And
right?
it's no longer
That's
around.
true,
Right? Yeah.
Right, and it's no longer around.
God.
But I mean, that's how you get billions. I think you get millions through, like, activations of, like, proliferation of IP, all these kind of projects coming up. Like Visa and MasterCard starting to do blockchain integration, I think is going to be huge. When you start to see governments building treasuries, when you start to see crypto going into 401ks, you're going to have these, like, off-chain users, right?
Yeah.
That are interacting with blockchain. They just don't know it, or they might have it in their 401k, but they don't own any. It's just, it's in a clearinghouse of some sort. Even Robinhood or Coinbase, if they have one of those wallets, they don't own the Bitcoin or the Ethereum. It's in a clearinghouse. They just have a share of what Coinbase or Robinhood owns, and then they're selling it. They're just selling it to Robinhood, buying it and selling it to Robinhood. They're not on chain. So, like, that type of interaction is going to happen, but the conversion from them to on chain activity is probably pretty low. It'll be a while for that.
Interesting. And then my final question for you is, where do you hope to see Bearish as fuck and your Web3 journey in 5 years?
Well, in 5 years, I hope that Abstract has become, like, a go-to place for consumer crypto. I feel like, it's really easy for people to set up a wallet with an email address and engage in apps and games. I hope the portal is just, really killing it in terms of, like, activity. And, Bearish is one of those collections that people are going to look for to have for their profile pic, on even just on the Abstract portal, right?
Yeah.
Which you can do now. In terms of the project itself, like I'm hopeful that there will have been opportunities for monetization as a business. I mean, we've built Drip, constantly updating that. There is a bit of of monetary flow there. Could be better. It could also get acquired. There's we're also building Zeet right now with the collaboration between the Plague and the Bearish ecosystem. There is a very clear monetization flow for that is not reliant on the community. It's actually gives value back to the community and the participants. So if that is successful, there's something there in terms of a bit of a unicorn. But those types of things just kind of help funnel into benefiting the holders, keeping the project going, making interesting experiences. And then from an IP standpoint, I would really love, just kind of being in the industry, is to have, an animated series or something like that. I don't promise that. I don't say that. That's not part of the pitch of what Bearish is.
You guys heard it here first.
That's just me personally. Well, I only say I don't say that because I know how difficult it is to actually get something onto Netflix.
Yeah.
Or onto streaming. Like, it is super difficult. And, for me, that's a red flag if somebody's minting and says, like, this is going to be a show on Netflix.
Right. That used to be everyone's story, right?
Right. And I was like, that was always a red flag for me because I just being in the industry, I know how difficult it is to even get in the room to pitch. And then even once you're in the room to pitch, there's no guarantee that that's actually going to go
anywhere
and get anywhere, get made or released. And there's stuff that gets made pilot wise that's you never see. Every pilot season, there's probably 40 to 80 shows that were created, filmed, cast, filmed, created. Here's episode 1. Never picked up, never made, never seen the light of day. So it's very difficult. And so, like, I would never promise that, but would I like to see that? Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I would just that's probably the biggest things for me. I know Totally really wants to have some plushies and some toys and stuff like that. We have a pathway to do that now, but we don't want to make that investment until we have demand.
Yeah.
It's really easy to start going into like production on stuff like that. Obviously it costs money and there's a time thing. 3 to 6 months we can have plushies done, but would anybody want them? Or am I going to be sitting, or is Scotty going to be sitting in his basement with 30 boxes of Bearish plushies sitting behind him, sending them out one every 3 weeks because someone wants one? Like you have to think, strategically about how you do those things.
Yeah. My last question for you is just about the idea of the different chains that are out there. So do you think that there's room for the chains that there are now? Will one come out superior in terms of NFT products, whether it's an L2 as a abstract or ape chain, or is Solana going to go away as a NFT marketplace? Where do you think we're heading?
I think ETH will always have its place when it comes to NFTs, just solely based on Bored Ape, on CryptoPunks, on Plucky Penguins. Like it's always going to be there. Now, some of the projects that minted in 2022, 2023, 2024, they may or may not last. I mean, the lifespan of an NFT project is at best 6 to 12 months. So if you make it over 2 or 3 years, you're in, rarefied air in a lot of ways.
We made it, Kevin. We made it.
Yeah,
we don't have much to show for it, but we made it.
And that's the other thing; they might not have enough to show for it, but they're showing up.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like the cracking into any kind of stratosphere. It's so difficult, right? So, I think, I played around in Solana for a while, especially on the meme coin stuff, and NFT wise, like there's some solid collections over there. I don't think there's as many as there are on ETH, and I think that a lot of the new mints are not doing as well as they were.
Right.
Similar with Ape Chain, like you've got a lot of ape derivative NFTs over there, and there's some decent projects for sure. I'm not discounting that, but I think just in terms of it's maybe not having the same amount of. I mean, even on abstract, like I don't think there's necessarily the volume of the mainnet chain. You know,
Right, right.
ETH is always going to be king, but I think it does have the ability to crack into a different demographic when it comes to consumer crypto. In the same way that Base can do that, Base already has built-in user base from their app. Now they've got an L2, and now they can kind of build something similar to what Abstract has. So that's going to be the kind of the 1 and 2 back and forth on consumer crypto for a while. I don't know if there'll be a clear winner, but it'll be probably a top 2.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think, I think at a certain point, each chain will find its product market fit, their demographic. What is it they're best known for? Whether it's store of value, whether it's NFTs, whether it's meme coins, whether it's being very consumer friendly, consumer focused, or just being straight up degen. Like they're going to adopt, they got to have to adopt like an identity, and that will attract the people that are interested in having that same identity to that chain.
Yeah, love it.
That makes sense.
All right, listen, Carlo, we want to respect your time. Obviously, you're a busy man, and we appreciate you hanging out with us for the last hour or so. So what is your parting message to everyone? Where should they find you? What should they be keeping an eye out for, whether it's Web3 or film?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Twitter, Carlo L. Garcia. If you're interested in Bearish, check it out, bearish.af, bearish_AF on Twitter. And we've got a pretty helpful Discord. If you ever have questions, you can always hop in there. We're on Abstract, so we're right alongside with the Abstract ecosystem. And yeah, I mean, for film stuff, I usually post the same. I post content on my Twitter, so if I've got news about the film, it's going to go there. Once we get to knowing what the distribution is going to look like, I'll have information for there. But you won't see me do an NFT mint for raising money for my films.
So you say now?
Yeah, no, I only because like there's, only because of the people will expect revenue share.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
It's not as plausible as people think, based on how the industry works currently. That might change, but in the current setup and format, there's already enough people pulling from that piece of a pie that there's not much pie left over, and giving a bunch of NFT holders some crumbs is not fun. So, especially when they're thinking they're getting a big piece of pie.
Yeah, thanks for not dragging us through the mud like that. All right, and then Miguel, you got a stream tonight, right? Another stream in a couple of hours.
Yeah, I have a stream with Vicky tonight at 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
EST.
Eastern.
Yep, and we have a special guest today too.
Special guest Ukaswaka, who is a better artist at Rebel Ants drawing than you are, according to his latest Twitter posts. So well done. All right, Carlos, thanks again for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. I am going to exit us, but you hang on for 1 second, all right?
All right.
Don't go anywhere. Thank you.
All right, see you all later.
Bye, all.